Welcome back into another episode of Husker Women's Wednesday, powered by Emeritus. I'm Jessica Coody and joined by sophomore guard from Nebraska Women's Basketball, Logan Nissley. Logan, thanks for being here with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
Well, how does it feel sophomore season? I guess, does it feel any different for you going into this the second time around?
Honestly, it feels a lot more relaxed and calm. Honestly, we have a lot going on all the time. But just after having the year that we had last year and all of the things I got to experience, like, I'm just so excited for what's to come and what's happening with women's basketball. So it's a lot of fun.
Well, you guys have picked up your first Big Ten win on Sunday, and what an offensive start, man. 27 points in that first quarter. What went into you guys really exploding out of the gate?
Yeah, I think we talked a lot about how we struggled a little bit against Lindenwood, and so just focused on, we work on these things in practice every day, and so how can we punch first? Minnesota was undefeated coming into that game, and so they were just going to look to keep rolling and keep rolling. And so finding ways to distract them and not let their offense get going really sparked us on the offensive end.
How important was that? I mean, it's one game at a time, but to get that first Big Ten win, how important was that for this team?
Yeah, we talked about it in the locker room. We started a new season on Sunday, and we had a great season so far. And just starting the Big Ten season is something that everyone gets super excited about. Our freshmen are super excited. Birdie was super excited. And so just getting to play, it's a different level of competition, and it's just a lot more fun.
Well, you guys had obviously already been dealt some adversity with Natalie Potts going down. What was the message of the team when that happens, and how you guys, because with such a long season left, how did you guys come together and decide you were going to move forward after that, when she's just such a huge part of this team?
Yeah.
I know you're really close to her too.
Yeah.
Your fellow now sophomore.
Yeah. I will say a lot of us went through a lot of different emotions, especially throughout the rest of the game, because it happened in the first half and stuff. And so the first game was very different, and just Natalie brings so many different things to our team on the court, off the court, and so finding ways that all of us can help bring what she brought. Obviously there's not going to be a replacement for Nat, and so just trying to chip in wherever we can has been part of the message, but just doing it for Nat. Obviously with sports there comes injuries and diversity and adversity and everything that goes into sports, and so just being able to respond, that was our message last year. That's been a big message for us this year, and so being able to just put our head down and get to work. I mean, obviously, like I said, she brings a lot, and so just being able to kind of pick up where she would leave off and know that if she were on the court, she would be fighting for all of us too.
I think that's important too, and not every team can handle that when you lose a piece like that. It's just everybody doing a little bit more. How have you liked the way that this team has done that, and just that nobody can be Natalie Potts, but everybody can do a little something extra, and I guess what was that for you?
Yeah, I think a big thing for this team is just finding our roles, and obviously last year we had a great team, but we don't have that same team this year, and so just finding ways that I can impact the game. I think my role has been kind of going back and forth between the safety and halfback, which is like our terms for defense getting back or being able to offensive rebound. And that's something that I have always told the coaches, like, I can bring to the table. I think I read the ball really well off the basket, and so being able to offensively rebound right now, that's something that Nat did really well. And just being confident. I think Nat brought a very confident personality onto the court, and you always knew she was going to put her best foot forward. So just trying to do that for my team is something that I'm trying to bring.
That's great. Well, how about the freshmen that have stepped up and filled bigger roles too for her? Yeah,
I mean, obviously we all knew that Britt was going to be Britt, and she's just so much fun to be around, so that makes playing with her even more fun. And then Amaya being in Nat's position has really just sparked us. I think her ability to rebound is unbelievable, and just telling her, like, that is your role, that is something that you are so good at. And then she's a great shooter. Obviously we saw that on Sunday. But her confidence, I think she's so smart, and just being able to use that on the court is something that I think she can just keep learning and keep growing from in the next 4 years. And then Petra, obviously, her ability to stretch the floor for us has been huge. I don't think a lot of freshman bigs come in and they're like, okay, I'm going to start shooting from deep, and I think that she does that really well for us. And then her ability to just change things in the paint has been really awesome too.
You gotta love a fellow three-point shooter.
Oh my gosh, I love it. And like, she's coming out of her shell so much too. I think right when she got here, this was her first time in America, and so she was kind of just like starstruck, like, oh my gosh, what's going on? And so just her coming out of her shell has been so fun, and she's just such a great person. I'm excited for people to get to see her more.
So I did kind of wanted to go back. We chatted with you at length right when you first got here, but we saw your role continue to grow throughout your freshman season. You moved into the starting lineup. How did your game grow, just throughout the course of your first season being in a Husker uniform?
Yeah, I think that college basketball just has a different speed, and so getting used to that was something that took me a little bit to handle. And the first kind of couple games of my college career probably wasn't what I wanted it to be, but it was just the learning aspect, and I think everybody has to go through it at some point. But I told my coaches at the end of last year, like the second that they put their trust in me and told me exactly what they needed from me, that was like everything just fell right into place. And that's when I can go out on the court and just be that piece that the team needs, whatever it is at the time, whether that's knocking down shots, getting a stop on defense, rebounding, just things like that. And I think that's something that I can kind of keep building on this year, is just being whatever the team needs.
The confidence for you to let her rip, to shoot that ball, where does that come from? That is huge. That was a big part of opening things up last year at the end of the season when you really got it going from outside. So where does that confidence come from?
Yeah, I have put in the work. I mean, I talked about it last time too, but my dad and I were in the gym every morning when I was in middle school, high school, shooting around garbage cans, like running around the three-point line until he would pass it to me and then I could catch and shoot, running 16s and then shooting while I was tired. So just being able to trust my training. Sometimes shooting is a mental game and you go through ups and downs, and unfortunately that's just a part of the game, but just being able to fall back and trust my training. My coaches have put a lot of trust in me and a lot of confidence, and anytime I miss, my teammates all come up to me and they're like, that was a great shot, you got the next one. So being able to give that confidence from everyone else around me just kind of helps me be confident in that, and that's something that I've been working on since I was little.
It's great. Another part, and you mentioned this, but there were some times where you were huge on the glass last year, and I know that's a big part of you take a lot of pride in that. Where does that come from? Why did you become, you're a guard, you're a little guard, and so some people might say, oh, you're not supposed to rebound, but you have a message for that. You certainly defy that. Why are you able to be such an impact in that role? Yeah,
I think ever since I was younger, I'm not the most athletic person. I'm not the fastest. I can't jump the highest, but my basketball IQ has gotten me really far. And so being able to read the ball off the basket is something that I pride myself on. I've done it so many times I don't even think I could count. But just being able to use that, and I think sometimes it's not about if I can out-jump the person. Sometimes it is, and that doesn't always go my way. But being able to just read the basket and put myself in the right position to be able to rebound it is something that just comes naturally to me, which I'm very thankful for, and I just kind of use that.
So if a young girl is listening, what's your advice to be able to be a good rebounder? If they're working on their game at a young age.
Yeah, I think a big thing of rebounding is knowing your teammates' tendencies and when they're going to shoot it, at what point in the shot clock are they going to shoot it, where on the court are they shooting it, and those all kind of fall into where the ball is going to go off the basket.
Yeah.
A lot of three-point shots have long rebounds, long shots equal long rebounds, and just kind of reading it. You can practice it. You can have your brother, sister, parent, anyone, friends shoot the ball and just kind of watching where the ball goes off the backboard, off the rim, that kind of thing. Just go get it, I guess. Yeah.
That's great. That's great. You actually, after the season, ended up having surgery on your feet, and you'd posted about your journey a little bit. But this has been something that's been lingering for you for a while, since high school. How are you feeling? How has that progress been? And I guess, did you have to challenge yourself being patient getting out on the court?
Yeah, that was my coach's word for me was patience. And my surgeon's word for me was patience. And just, I don't need to rush it. There's no point in it. But it's really hard. I think especially, I was lucky enough to have surgery in the off season, and so I didn't miss any games. But like I said earlier, a big part of my confidence comes in my training. And so not being able to get that training this summer in the preseason, not being able to work with the new pieces that we added this off season, that was really hard for me. And so I was lucky enough to get a new role, and I learned how to be a vocal leader instead of leading on the court and by actions and stuff. And so I was in the gym every day with them, just on the sidelines. And so it was a different role, but it was really a good aspect for me to learn and to add to my game, being able to talk to people, and instead of just leading by example, I led with my voice. now it's kind of different. Obviously, I'm back on the court. Every day is different. I think now it's just a matter of playing through whatever I can handle, because at this point there's nothing broken, there's nothing sprained, strained, anything like that. It's just more of like the nerve pain that they had to go through with surgery, and they think at some point it'll go away. They're not really sure when, and so I just have to kind of deal with that and find ways to play with it.
Well, I know one person that you relied on to talk to through all of it was Allison Weidner, and we had her on back, it was last March, and boy, she just loved talking about you and just so proud of you. What role has Allison Weidner played in your development and just you being a Husker and what you've been able to do in the Husker uniform?
Yeah, honestly, I could talk for days and days about Al. She's been so special to me just because she has gone through injuries, and I wish that everybody could see how she works through her injuries. She is the most positive, optimistic person I've ever met, and she takes what God gives her and she works with it, whether that's something that she didn't want to happen or something that wasn't planned. And just her ability to talk to me through my injuries. Obviously, we had different injuries, but a lot of the things are similar when you're going through rehab and things just get tough. But she's just such a light in my life, and I'm so thankful that she's here. Hopefully, if she gets that second year, then I'll get to play all 4 of my years with her. But last year, I think her role obviously is not something that she wanted, and it was really tough for all of us to see her go down and to watch that happen. But her ability to just be a leader through it all, that's why she's one of our captains this year. She is just so special to this team, and the things she brings to us on the floor, off the floor, she's just such a special person.
Oh, I love that. What's it like playing with her now?
It's so much fun. I think she's so good about creating shots for others, which obviously helps me a lot. But just her grit. I mean, we talk about it in the locker room all the time. When we need a stop, Al's on the court to give us a stop, and when we need a bucket, she'll either drive to the basket and one, or she'll find somebody else for a big shot.
That's awesome. Well, you guys are, fourth in the nation, lead the Big Ten, shooting over 41% from three, also lead the Big Ten in field goal percentage, and again, one of the top offensive teams in the entire country. Why has this team been able to click so well offensively, from the start of the season to now?
Yeah, I think we put a lot of work into it. I think especially this summer, this preseason, we did a lot of guard post work, and so us guards being able to score in different ways, being 3-level scorers, whether that's getting to the rim, mid-range, 3-point baskets. I think we all have the capabilities to do that. And then just finding our bigs. We have some of the best bigs in the country, and so being able to give them touches just really spreads the defense. And we're one of the best shooting teams in the country, obviously, and we don't pride ourselves on that. We like to get the ball inside, and so that's something that really works well for us, is being able to score at all 3 levels.
I was going to say, as a shooter, what does Alexis Markowski do for the 3-point game?
It's actually unreal. And I would have never, coming here as a freshman, obviously you hear the name Alexis Markowski and you're just starstruck, but her ability on the court to just stay composed, and she knows that double, triple, quadruple teams are coming, and just her ability, I think this year especially, I think in the South Dakota game, she had 7 assists, and just when she feels that defense coming, her ability to kick the ball out just really helps us as shooters, and obviously we get wide open shots just because of how big of a presence she is inside, and then just her ability to be confident. I think she brings that to us, and her energy and her personality is just so much fun to be around, and so that's, I think, why we click so well.
How much fun is it for you as a shooter to play in a system like this, to where they let it fly, and you're gonna put up some shots?
Yeah, I think that was one of the reasons I came here. Is just I loved the pace that they played with and the things that they brought offensively, and so just being able to keep growing my game in different ways, finding different areas of shots. Now that I'm a sophomore, people kind of know my game, and so it might be a little tougher this year to get some shots off, and so just being able to develop and grow is going to be really important going forward.
So I wanted to ask you, I saw you at the volleyball match on Saturday.
Yes.
Tell us about that relationship, why you enjoy going to the volleyball matches so much.
Yeah, so the sophomore class now, Bergen, Reilly, Andy Jackson, Harper, Laney, and then Caroline Jaravicious, who left last year, we were all roommates. And so we lived next door to each other, and Laney was actually my suite mate. I lived with her. And we were just so close. I think being in the suites was super fun, and our rooms being right next to each other we spent a lot of time together and just kind of clicked as a group. And it was really fun, I think, just getting to know them outside of the spotlight and the volleyball and everything like that. Getting to see how good of people they are is just super cool, and not everybody gets to do that. And so then watching them do their thing is just, it's so cool.
Well, you're really close to your fellow South Dakota. Is that what you say, South Dakotan?
Yeah, she's from South Dakota. I'm from North Dakota.
Is that what you call you guys, South Dakotans?
Yes.
Okay.
The Dakota girls.
Dakota girls.
Yes.
But Bergen, you guys have a special relationship, and we see Bergen. She's in the stands at a lot of basketball games, men's and women's games. But how special is that, and what does that do to have a relationship with another fellow student athlete like Bergen Reilly?
Yeah, I think for me, we get to talk to each other a lot about our sports, which is nice to kind of have like outside eyes, an unbiased opinion, someone that's not there every day to just kind of give us a different light and a different way to look at it. And just Bergen's so kind, she's so sweet, and just like her ability to give me advice and kind of take advice too. She's like one of the most popular people in the world right now with women's volleyball, and just her ability to put that aside. She never lets the fame ever get to her. She is just the same down-to-earth person. And so her ability to just do that and put her light on other people, I think is really special. And when there's so much light and so much fame on her right now, I think that's something you don't really see every day. And her ability to handle that is just something that it awes me. I'm just in awe of her all the time.
And you play volleyball too. I mean, how good is she? I mean, she's like that Heisman Trophy winning quarterback.
Yeah.
It just is such a difference maker.
Yeah, I think setting sometimes, like not as much now, but I think it really went unnoticed, especially when you have the caliber of hitters that she has. But her decision making and just the things that she's able to do, it's not the huge big kill or it's not the big block, even though she has had a lot of those this year. But her decision making is just unmatched, and I think that's really evident right now.
Yeah, that's what Kelly Hunter, her position coach, says. So you nailed it. I just talked to her yesterday,
Yes.
so you nailed it exactly.
Yes.
Just what does that say about Nebraska? Just how special does that kind of add to how special this place is? Just the way that the two programs and you guys support each other in that way.
Yeah, I think a lot of it sparks from just how good of people that Nebraska athletics recruits. And I know basketball and volleyball are two really close sports. A lot of our older classmen are really close with their older classmen, but I think it goes for Nebraska athletics as a whole. I think a lot of sports just intertwine with each other through groups like FCA is a big group that I'm a part of and that a lot of my teammates are a part of, and we just get to meet and mingle with all different kinds of athletes that believe in the same things, have different priorities, like things like that. And so the people that come here and play sports here are just such good people, and I think it's really easy to get along with people like that.
Oh, that's great stuff. Well, as you circling back now back to the women's basketball team, you guys have, close out December, and then you'll be full speed ahead into Big Ten. What's the goal? What are the goals? What are the focus of this team over these next few weeks before you guys hit a daunting Big Ten schedule?
Yeah, I think everybody has the same goal. I think we all want to get back to that Big Ten championship game again, get back to the NCAA tournament, even win some more games in the NCAA tournament. That's all of our goals, but we talk about it a lot. We have to have goals every day, and just being able to go 1-0 at practice every day and 1-0 in every drill is going to help us in the long run. And so just focusing on the things that we can handle, the things that we can control in practice, in school, finals week, that kind of thing is just going to help us prepare.
Oh, great stuff. What an awesome conversation. Thank you so much for chatting with us, and best of luck the rest of the way out.
Thank you.
And that is Logan Nissley sitting down with us for this week's Husker Women's Wednesday. Meritus is proud to power Husker Women's Wednesday and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for listening and watching. And as always, make sure you subscribe and like wherever you listen to never miss an episode right here on the Huskers Radio Network podcast.